going to talk about the game of the hour here. Game that we followed the most. Zach, as the biggest UC fan I know, as a member of the people who went to this game, what did you see from the Bearcats in their 3-point win against Xavier?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the preview. This is a game where you kind of throw everything out.
Absolutely.
Just a war on the court. Some shit always happens in this game that makes no sense. And again, it happened yesterday. I mean, the environment was fantastic. Incredible crowd.
Yeah.
It was loud. I thought UC played pretty damn bad. I'm not going to lie. Like they did not play a good game. And especially, I mean, their top, I don't know if I call them their top three players, but what have been their top three scorers generally with Jizzle James, Seamus Lukosius, and Dan Skillings did pretty much nothing the whole game until Seamus kind of stepped up a little bit there late in the second half, which credit to him. He stepped up when they needed him, but Jizzle James did quite literally nothing. He was 0 for 11 from the floor, and I think had 2 points. I don't – if you were to tell me that, I don't know. The fact that they still won is kind of incredible to me, or that it was even close. Because if you give me those stats, I'll be like, you're insane. Like that's another blowout win. I thought we were heading towards that. I remember Conwell hit that 3 to put him up 7 with like a little under 7 to go, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Here we go.
Yeah.
And luckily they kind of locked in. They said we can't do this again. I think we would have. I think Wes Miller might have been beheaded if they lost that game.
Yes.
But no, but I think they played great on defense. I think some little weird rebounding problems, but it wasn't too bad. One thing that was a good positive sign, though, something that they haven't been doing at all the entire year, is they have not been getting to the free throw line, and they were able to get to the line. I don't know what the total number was, but they shot a lot of free throws. They 19 of 26 from the free throw line. So they've been getting to the line like 5 times in games before this. So it was good to see them be able to collapse defense, because Xavier is a team that defensively will kind of I don't want to say sit back, but they kind of wall up. They don't jump passing lanes too much. They're not as aggressive like UC kind of is. So it's a team where they'll give you – they don't give you, but you might get some open-ish looks from 3. They weren't making them, so they were able to get to the basket and draw some fouls, some tough finishes. But I want to shout out like Connor Hickman, guy that he kind of kept them in the game there in the first half.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has had some good games, but has been kind of either really good or just non-existent. So good to see him step up in a big game here. Hit a couple big shots. Thought played some good D. Day Thomas I thought was great, even though he didn't score too much, but he was locking up Conwell. Like had Conwell and like, I mean, he had him completely locked up for most of the game. And had a couple missed offensive plays. I think it was good. Dylan Mitchell was very good, obviously, but he's I'd say one of the usual suspects by now, but that's a win that I think we've been waiting to see, because in the Wes Miller era, because I think so far in the first 3 years, of the Wes Miller era, there haven't been really any games where they played like complete shit against a good team and still were able to win. And and I think that's the sign of a good team. That's really ready to take that next step. And while it may not have been pretty, and maybe their metrics will go down because of it, this is where I think you watch the game and the magnitude of the game. I think you could say the same about the Kentucky-Louisville game. It's the same idea. The fact that they're able to pull out a win like this, I think, is more of a good than a bad for sure, despite how poorly they played. But yeah, big win nonetheless. Finally good to finally beat those, that school. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I was super happy for you and for all of the Bearcats fans that have waited a long, long time. Was it 4 years or over 4 years to get a victory against Xavier? Look, I think you hit it on the head. Defensively, I enjoyed watching this because down the stretch, it kind of looked like the Mick Cronin era, like the gritty, physical defensiveness of UC. You hit it well, though. I mean, 25% from three. I think Wes Miller alluded to this, but they couldn't hit a shot.
No.
And it's interesting because Xavier, while they haven't been the best this year, they still, like, everybody in their 8-man rotation is very, very old. Like, I'm talking, like, of course, Fremantle, he's been there for
LinkedIn, man. LinkedIn.
Yes. He's been there since the dinosaurs. And, some of these other guys are like, check, they're like 23, 24. And, you see, they're not the youngest team in the world, but, they got Jizzle James, who's starting as a sophomore. They got Dan Skillings, who's a true junior. Dylan Mitchell, true junior. And then they got a couple guys coming off the bench. We didn't play that many minutes, but they're still like freshman, sophomore guys. So it's tough to beat a old team in a rivalry game, especially when you shoot very poorly. So I think that Bearcats fans should be happy with this one. Because especially with the comeback, like, I shut my computer off and I was kind of upset because when Conwell hit that three to put them up 7 with 7:50 to go, I was like, oh boy, UC is going to lose to Xavier again. And I couldn't have imagined how it was in the stadium,
Oh my gosh, it was it was very restless, I'll say that. So
like, I was ready to slam my stuff on the ground. I was like, are you kidding me? But then
I just had PTSD. It was like flashbacks over and over.
Yeah. But they clawed back into it. Shout out to the guys, both Seamoss Lukosius and Dan Skillings and Jizzle James. I'll throw him in there because he made a couple of nice passes in that time frame. But, I mean, all three of those guys, I would say, kind of played a little poorly. I mean,
very poorly.
Seamoss, he led the team with 14 points, but couldn't hit a three. But Dan Skillings wasn't very good. He looked like he was still, a little rusty coming off that injury. And then Jizzle James, like you said, 0 for 11 from the floor. But at the end of the day, I kind of compare it. I know these teams kind of aren't on the same level yet, but Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs this year, I mean, they've played kind of poorly a lot of their games, but they're able to beat good teams because at the end of the day, Mahomes and the team make the plays to win the game.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what UC did here in my eyes. They got stops on defense and made shots on offense down the stretch. And yeah, Zach Fremantle, get a wide open look to tie the game at 5th, 3rd in your last rivalry game. Can't ask for a better shot, and he missed.
Yeah, he choked.
He did choke. So
time to hit the job market, buddy.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, but yeah, like you said, big game and a big result for the Bearcats. Yeah. I would heed people who are judging the Bearcats just off of that Villanova game to maybe slow down a little bit. Obviously,
I think that goes for any team too. For any team at this point in the year,
yeah.
Like one game isn't the end all be all, especially if it's an outlier per se.
Absolutely, like. We can acknowledge, they didn't play their best at Villanova.
Nope.
But at least they didn't lose to, Mississippi Valley State or some mid-major team like that.
Say goodbye to your season if that
happens.
But no, yeah, I don't know if you saw this, but when Fremantle hit the buzzer beater at the end of the first half, he started shit talking Kenyon Martin.
I did not see that. Wow.
And then proceeded to score 2 points in the whole second half.
Wow, you can't do that, man.
Karma served them right.
Yeah. That's too bad. Yeah, can't trash talk a legend and then not back it up in the second half, Trash talk him if you win the game, of course, but can't plant your flag in the first half,
I know.
But yeah, big rivalry. Apologies to all the Norwood fans.
No apologies here.